Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Surprise Thursday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the WWE Main Event Showdown 2-pack of Mean Gene Okerlund and Hulk Hogan. Let's get into it! Let's start things off with a look at the packaging. And here we have a peg hooky thing. Includes a WWE Championship, WWE Main Event Showdown. Then over here we've got Mattel. Some nice pictures of Mean Gene and Hulk Hogan. Series number 19, highly articulated. Then we have a nice big blister showcasing the figures and accessories. And then down here at the bottom says Mean Gene Okerlund and Hulk Hogan. R.I.P. both you greats. On the bottom, nothing. On the back, highly articulated. And again, there's some photos of Gene and Hulk. WWE Main Event Showdown, Mean Gene Okerlund and Hulk Hogan. Their style, Mean Gene's a brawler. And Hulk's a powerhouse. Mean Gene's from Robbinsdale, Minnesota, while Hulk is from Venice Beach, California. And the finishing moves are hard-hitting questions from Gene. And a leg drop from Hulk. Series number 19, here is the cross sale. Rock versus John Cena and Randy Orton versus CM Punk. And here we have some small fine legalese print, some more small fine legalese print, made in China print. Mattel empowering generations through play. And here's some symbols I'm not going to learn. WWE, barcode, question mark, whatever that is. That, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figures and the accessories. And it's pretty basic here. It's a basic figure 2-pack. But it does come with a championship belt. WWE World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. And it's got some badges and stuff on it. And you can see they're just kind of stuck through there and glued. Or maybe it's just stuck through there. I don't know. I will say this. If this is similar to the other belts, and I think it is, that, you know, it doesn't. It really just doesn't fit good on the figures. So there's that. The other accessory, of course, Mean Gene's mic, because he's got to have it. Should have a cord on it though. But I understand that that's, you know, kind of hard to do. Also, Hulk comes with a sweatband, which we've taken a look at before. I want to say in the Ultimate Edition Hulk Hogan. So let's take a look at Hulk first. Raise the camera up just a little bit. And I have to say, they did a really nice job on the eyes. And just the overall sculpt of the face, you can tell that this is Hulk Hogan with no problems whatsoever. He's wearing a red shirt, Mean Gene Omania. And then I think there's a little bit of wash in his mustache there. Doesn't appear to be in his hair, but there's a little bit of wash in his mustache, it looks like. Either that, or they might be using some type of inkjet printing for the faces now. So blue trunks, I think these are painted on. I mean, they're not sculpted in, so I think it's a paint app there. And then pretty much everything on this figure is molded in the correct colors. This is probably molded in red plastic, and then the chest part and the back part here is a paint app. I could be mistaken though. So let's take a look at his articulation real quick. Because of the hair, he doesn't really look up. Because of the neck, he doesn't really look down. He's got a little bit of chicken neck. He has very slight waggle. He can do the full exorcist. At the shoulder, does do a 360 degree rotation, and he can raise his arm up just under 90 degrees, it looks like. Cut at the upper bicep. Oops, that turned the whole thing. We don't want to do that. So 360 degrees of rotation there. Single elbow with a hinge in it, with a single hinged elbow with a pin in it, and it gives you that much bend, so it's not bad. 360 degrees rotation at the wrist on an in and out hinge, and on the other side in and out hinge as well. Nothing in the torso, straight cut at the waist, full 360 degrees of rotation there. He gives you that much of the splits at the hips, and he kicks forward approximately 90 degrees, and then back 3/4 of the length of his own foot. Nothing in the thighs. I want to say it's a double hinge knee. It's hard to tell with this overlay in there, which does gum the works up a little bit. Might just be a single hinge pin knee in there, because this is a basic figure. So he gets that much bend with this overlay on. And I'm not, yeah, I think it's just a single hinge knee. Then at the top of the boot, there's a boot cut, 360 degrees of rotation there. And at the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, which is hardly any, and no rocker. Now, as far as Hulk's accessories go, you know, the sweatband or headband, whatever you want to call it, just kind of slides in there on top of his head behind his hair. The belt, you know, it goes on here. You can fight with it to get it. It would help if this was curved inward just a little bit. Excuse me. But it's not. And so the belt, again, it's a really tight fit. If you can get it on there, it's going to be like just these first two pegs, and that's going to be it. If I can even get that. I got one there. So a top and a bottom one. And that's really all I can get with it. And this is the same belt that came with like the Ultimate Edition, and it fits the same as well. So there's Hulk out of the way. Now let's take a look at Mean Gene, which is the reason I bought this pack. And let's see. So the coat piece is overlay. It's got a nice WW Tampo on it from the 80s. Should have an F in there too, but it doesn't, because they don't go by that anymore. Because some other company owns the initials WWF. So very nice sculpt to the face, and nice paint as well. And it looks like they might have used inkjet on his face as well. Nice clear eyes. Eyebrows look like they could have been put on a little better, as in longer. Mustache looks okay. And again, the head sculpt is, it looks pretty accurate. So then, like I said, this is an overlay. I want to say the tie is glued on. It's probably got Tampo stripes on it. There's some paint apps on the overlay for the buttons here. And the body appears to be molded in white, and then this flesh tone is painted on there. You can see, well, maybe you can see it on the camera. You can see some paint slop there where they didn't actually get it on there all that great. So there's that. Everything else appears to be molded in plastic. Oh, molded in plastic. Of course it's molded in plastic. Molded in color. So there's a paint app I missed right there. The buttons on the outside of his jacket sleeve. So everything else. Molded in color. He's got brown shoes, it looks like. Alright, let's take a look at his articulation. He can't really look up. And I want to say this head's on a dumbbell. He looks down a little bit. He's got some chicken neck. He's got very little waggle. He can do the full exorcist. At the shoulder, 360 degrees of rotation. And he can raise his arm up more than 90 degrees. So that's even better than Hulk. Then at the elbow, it's a single hinge and swivel. Swivels around 360 degrees. And it gives you that much bend. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist on in and out hinge, and in and out hinge on the other side as well. Now there's a cut in here somewhere. I want to say it's probably at the waist. Yes, it's at the waist. So there's nothing in the torso. Straight cut at the waist. Rotates 360 degrees there. And at the hips, he gives you that much of the splits, which is pretty good for a guy in a suit. And then he can kick forward that far. Looks like a little better than 90, but I think the knee, yeah. So about 90 degrees. We'll call it 90 degrees. We'll give Mean Gene 90 degrees. And then about a half a length of his own foot back the leg can go. So there's a single hinge at the knee, no swivel to it. But, oh, is there some swivel in there? There's a little bit of swivel. The legs are on dumbbell, half dumbbell, whatever you want to call it there. So he does get a little bit of swivel there at the hip. So single hinge at the knee gives you approximately a 90 degree bend. Then at the ankle, I can't really get it to tilt down. It doesn't really tilt up, and doesn't seem to be any rocker either. And as far as his accessory goes, it just goes right in his hand, so he can interview and do his finishing move of hard hitting questions. So there you have it, my friends. I'll look at the figures and their accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the WWE Main Event Showdown 2-pack of Mean Gene Okerlund and Hulk Hogan, with The Undertaker from the WWE Wreckin' Boneyard Slam Cycle, the Ultimate Edition WWE Andre the Giant, and the Ultimate Edition WWE Mr. T. For our last set of comparisons, here we have the WWE Main Event Showdown 2-pack of Mean Gene Okerlund and Hulk Hogan, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the WWE Main Event Showdown Mean Gene Okerlund and Hulk Hogan 2-pack, I have to say I was really glad that they did this 2-pack. I'm not a huge wrestling fan, and I do have some nostalgia for it from the 80s when, you know, Hulk Hogan was real big and the cartoon was on and stuff like that. And I always liked Mean Gene. And I wanted the version in the tuxedo because that's the first one I saw. But it was a Build-A-Figure, and I really did not like most of the figures in that wave. There was a Macho Man. I don't have a Macho Man yet, and I do want a Macho Man. But the version of it, I want to say it was Macho King. And I didn't want that one. So, but I'm glad they put this one on, because this is actually the version I wanted more. This is like the more regular version. At least that's the way I remember it. It's been many moons since I've really watched wrestling, and especially, you know, with these two guys on it. Although Hogan went on to have, you know, a distinguished and famous and infamous career in the ring and out of the ring as well. Rest in peace. And Mean Gene, you know, he's been dead a while, or passed away a while, I guess I should say, deceased. And R.I.P. for you as well, Mean Gene. But, you know, I had that nostalgic feel for some of these characters, I guess is the best way to describe them. And as far as this particular version of Hulk Hogan, it didn't matter to me. This pack for me was all about Mean Gene, and I like the sculpt, I like the overall look. The Hulk Hogan is okay. Yes, they're both basic figures, and for Mean Gene, that's okay, because pretty much what does he do? He stands there and holds a microphone and asks questions. So I think this is a perfect addition to the few wrestling figures that I do have, or WWE figures that I do have, because that's the only, I think, Andre the Giant, Mr. T, Hulk Hogan, now another Hulk Hogan, and Mean Gene Okerlund, and I do have the Boneyard Slam Cycle Undertaker with the motorcycle. So, but you know, it's basic figures. If you're looking for something that's going to be super articulated, you'll be sorely disappointed in this pack, because that's not what it is. It's part of a basic assortment, and it's basic as far as, you know, today's figures in this scale go. Back in the day, basic was 5 POA, and that's what you got, and you liked it. And we did like it because we didn't know any better except for G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was the only figure that had, like, what you could consider back in the 80s super articulation. And Hasbro was good at that. They're still good at it for the most part, I guess. But they don't make these figures. Mattel does. And this is what Mattel gave us. And again, I think they're fine for what they are. The Hulk Hogan, it really doesn't matter to me. I may give that Hulk Hogan to my nephew, but he already has the Ultimate Edition figure, so he may just, I don't know, be up there to be interviewed by Mean Gene. But Mean Gene was the real reason I got this 2-pack, and I am so thankful that they put him out, you know, as not a Build-A-Figure, because I was not about to buy an entire wave of wrestling characters to build Mean Gene Okerlund as much as I wanted a Mean Gene. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you. But only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content, or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.